Good morning, everybody. We're here on Daf Tzadik Gimel Amud Bet 93b, on the bottom at the Mishnah. It says the Heilige Mishnah, Hamoitzi ochlin pachot mikashir b'chli patur afalakli. If someone carries out food less than the shear of food again is kigrog geret, like a dried fig. So you have less than that. So you're not chayav for the food, but you carried it out in a cup, in a keli, in a vessel, in a utensil, in a plate. Patur afalak kli. You patur even for the keli. You don't have to bring a chatat. She'akeli toflali. Because the keli was not being carried out for itself, it was just serving, it was subordinate to the food. And since the food itself is not chashuv enough to be chayav, or not significant enough, therefore the keli, since the keli wasn't being carried out for itself, just for that, you'll be patur for that too. Okay, wow, big chiddush here, right? Esachai b'mita patur, afala mita. If you carry out a live person on a bed, not only are you going to be patur for the live person, and the reason is because there's a rule we're going to see soon in the Gemara, because a live person literally, the words are, he carries himself. Now, we know that you can't carry yourself, but you have to use gravity. But the point is that when someone else carries you, you're not, we're going to see soon, the Svara in Rashi is that you make yourself lighter than normal. You're not dead weight. You don't weigh, after a person dies, they know he weighs, it's heavier. The same pounds, the same amount of mass weighs more, it's harder to carry than when he's alive. And why? Because the live person makes it lighter for the person carrying him. Now, it still needs a little more of an explanation but that's the Pashup Pshat, the way Rashi learns. We're going to see how Tosfos asks some kashas on that soon. We'll get into that sugi very soon. But that's a simple Pshat for the Mishnah. Therefore, if you carry out a live person, you're patur. Can't do it on Shabbat, midirabanan, but you're patur. If you carry him on a bed, if you take a live person out on a bed, since the bed is just there to serve the person, not for the bed itself, therefore you patur on the bed as well. We're in the Mishnah now, Michael. Good morning. Esameis b'mita chayav. But if you carry out a dead person on a bed, then you'll be chayav. Because a dead person, you're chayav for. V'chei kizayit min amet, or kizayit of a met. Even one kizayit, or kizayit min a-nevela. Nevela is the carcass of an animal. So, even a kizayit of a nevela, you're chayav for. V'chada asham min asheretz. And the commonality between these three things is that a kizayit and a met, or a kizayit from a nevela, or an adasha from a sheretz, min sheretz, which is the lentil size of one of the 8 creeping creatures that are tameh when they die, all of those are mitameh. Therefore, you're chayav. For Rabbi Shimon Poter, the Tanakhama says you're chayav. Why? Why you chayav? Why not? What do you mean why? Why? Because you carried a kizayit. Now, why does it have to be a kizayit? What about less than kizayit? The answer is, remember, you have to have a shiur. You have to have significance. So the significance of a dead animal is a kizayit, or an adasha of a sheretz, or a kizayit of a met, of a human. Why? Because you have an interest in getting that out of your home, because that makes your home tameh, or by kizayit and a met, or by kizayit and a nevela, that will make you tameh if it's in your house, if you touch it. If it's a person, then it will tameh you be'ohel. Therefore, you have an interest in removing it from your home. You don't want it. So therefore, since it has an effect on you, therefore that's the shear that's chashuv by a person to remove. Rabbi Shimon poter. Rabbi Shimon says, Yipatur. Why you patur? Because Rabbi Shimon says, it's a malacha she'ena tzricha legufa. And since the Torah wants meleches machsheves, artisan acts that are thought out, things that have purpose, so a malacha that's not needed for itself, you are patur. Now, what does it mean it's not needed for itself? It's really a machlokat Rashi and Tosfos. Rashi says, you wouldn't have wanted this here in the first place. It's a problem for you now. You want to remove it. You want to get rid of the mace, because the mace will smell, the mace gives you tumah. I would never have wanted this problem in the first place. I'm not really getting anything out of it, just getting rid of a problem. So that is not a malacha shetzricha legufa. That's the way Rashi learns. Tosfos learns it's a malacha shetzricha legufa means a malacha that its purpose is not for a purpose that we find in the Mishkan, which means it's not in it for itself. You're not creating something here with this thing. It's just to remove something that's to get rid of a problem. But you're not trying to create something like the purpose in the Mishkan that we find that when they carried things, they transported them for the purpose of getting this to there so that they could do something. Here, the purpose is to remove, to get rid, to rid yourself of something. That is how Tosfos learns what a malacha she'ena tzricha legufa means. Different than Rashi, but both of them are saying this pshat in Rabbi Shimon that says patur. Okay, so there's a lot of things in this Mishnah. Says the Gemara, Hakdosha, Tanu Rabbanan. 3 lines from the bottom, 93b. All the way near the bottom, by the Gemara. Tanu Rabbanan, Hamotzi ochlin kishiur. If someone carries out the right amount of food, which is a grogeret, a dried fig, im bichli chayav al ochlin upatur al kli. If it's inside a keli, he's chayav on the food, but he's patur on the keli. Because the keli is subordinate. It's a tafel to the food. It's just serving the food. It's just like, imagine something like, like a tag that's just serving the food. It's not really, okay. The imaya keli, tzarech loy, chayav afal keli. But if I needed the keli too, I'm not just carrying out my tea, to drink my tea by my friend's house, but my friend asked me if I could bring him a cup. I said, he called across the street, he goes, could you please bring me a cup? A hot cup? I'm like, sure. You mind using mine? No, I'll use yours when you're done. Okay, fine, I'm drinking a tea, I'll come over. So now I brought my tea over, because I want to drink my tea there, and I also wanted to bring my cup there for him. So then, chayav afal akli. Then you're chayav for both. So the Gemara says, 1 second, for both? So you're doing, now, you forgot Shabbat, right? And you forgot that carrying food is asur, you forgot that carrying kelim are asur. So the Gemara says, Shma mina, ochel shnei zeitei chelev behelam echad chayiv shtayim. Sounds like from here, says the Gemara. Excuse me. That if you eat 2 kizaitim of chelev in one helam, in one concealment, okay, you eat one, you forgot you're not allowed to eat chelev, and then 25 minutes later you eat another one, and you still haven't found out you're not allowed to eat chelev. So it sounds like you should bring 2 chataot. Why? Because here we're saying that if you do 2 things in one concealment, the food and the keli, and you wanted both of them, it wasn't just that the keli was serving the food, but you wanted the keli as well, you bring 2 chataot. So that will be the halacha over there. So Omer Rav Sheshet, no. By the way, What happens if you eat 2 kizayt chaylev in one shot? 2 kizayt. There's no question, nobody has a suffix there, that you only bring 1 chatat. Because you did it in 1 achila. So why wouldn't this case that we just said, take out the cup of tea with the cup, you want both of them. The cup is not just serving the tea. I actually want to bring the cup to my friend. Why wouldn't you compare that to eating 2 kizayt chaylev in one shot? Not 2 kizayt chaylev in one concealment, half an hour later, in 2 separate achilot. In 1 achila. And everybody agrees there that you only chayev 1 chatat. So how does the Gemara compare to this case?
It's still one object. The chaylev is one, even though it's the same thing.
Same type of thing, yeah.
The chaylev is one object that even though it's 2 pieces, it's still the same item. Here you're talking about 2 separate items.
And what about if it's 2 separate pieces of chaylev? And I go like this, I eat 1, very good.
Chaylev 1.
Take the next one.
What is a food chaylev?
Chaylev is a forbidden fat, it's about this big, it's a kazayit.
Only one such thing is a forbidden fat.
Oh, so you're saying that these are, so it's one
type of thing.
So then how do you compare it to chaylev at all then? Here we have 2 separate things, and there we are comparing it to 2 pieces of chaylev half an hour apart.
Because they're talking about it from an action perspective, I'm talking about it from an object perspective.
Okay, so therefore you're saying that in object perspective, these two examples are different. But the Gemara compares them to half an hour later. The Gemara compares taking out this cup of tea with the cup to my friend's house, and I have a purpose in both, the tea and the cup separately, to eating 2 pieces of chaylev, not knowingly, half an hour apart, 2 different achilot, not simultaneous achilot, but in one concealment, meaning I haven't found out yet that you're not allowed to eat that. So the Rishonim say the Gemara and the Gemara says, does that mean that in that case you're going to bring 2 chataot, just like you bring 2 chataot for carrying the cup? So the Rishonim say, wait a minute, compare it to eating 2 pieces of chaylev simultaneously, just like you're doing this simultaneously. So the Rishonim say, and there everybody knows that you can't compare. There you're going to bring 1 chatat. Who gives you the license to say, oh, just like over here you chayev 2 chataot. So in the case that I eat 2 pieces of chaylev within a half an hour of each other, you're going to bring 2 chataot. That's not compared to this. This is simultaneously. So the Rashba says, no, because since these, maybe this is, I think, what Michael's saying. I'm just making it difficult for you. Since these 2 items have nothing to do with each other. I mean, yes, this is serving this, but I really want 2 separate things. My friend wants a cup, I want tea. For me, personally, it's serving one thing now, but there's also so they're so different. Even when I take them out together, they happen to be touching each other, one is holding the other, it's just as much as if I took them out separately. Because they're so separate. Therefore, the Gemara makes the comparison. The 2 pieces of chaylev eaten separately. That's the Rashba says. Okay, so the Gemara is saying, are you positing now that this is the halacha by 2 pieces of chaylev, that you'll bring 2 chataot? Just like you bring 2 chataot for carrying out this cup of tea? No. Hocha b'mayaskinon kigon sheshagag ala oichlin v'hezed ala keli. Which means, when it says that they're going to be chayav for the keli in our Mishnah, right? We are speaking about you were shogeg on the cup of tea, on the tea. You forgot that you're not allowed to carry out food. You didn't realize that carrying is a problem with food. You're like, Rabbi, food? Food is like Shabbat, man. It's Kodesh. We're having Oneg Shabbat. We're having it's a mitzvah to eat. You're allowed to carry food. You're just not allowed to carry out items. That I know. So you ask the guy, so why are you carrying out the cup? Your friend asks you for the cup. Oh, well, I don't really care about Shabbat. I don't really care about that. But the food part, you had no idea that it was Asur. Okay, now,
Can you repeat that again?
yeah, the food, he doesn't even know it's asur. So that when he carries out the tea itself is really shogeg. He doesn't know that it's asur on Shabbat. The cup, he knows. He knows. He knows good and well what he's doing. So he's taking that out. So that one he's chayav skila for. That's mazid. That's willingly. So therefore, you cannot, now, what are we answering? So what? So what we're saying is, so therefore you cannot compare it to the case of eating two separate pieces of chaylev, half an hour apart, and say, you have to bring two chataot, just like here. Because we never said you have to bring two chataot. We said you have one chatat and one skila. But two chataot you won't bring. Okay? Amazing halacha over here. So meaning to say, since two chataot you won't bring because it's one helam. It's one helam, one concealment. You won't bring two chataot.
Did he not realize there was food in the cup?
He did.
He just didn't know that the food was...
Asur. So what we're really trying to say is like this. If he didn't know that any of them are asur, even items are not asur, so he wouldn't bring two chataot. Why not? Because it's the same melacha. It's carrying, and it's one concealment. So I'll bring one chatat. But so how does the Mishnah say you chayav on both? The answer is one is you chayav chatat for shogeg, and one you chayav skila for bezit. Now, isn't there a halacha of kamle b'derabamine? That if I do an act, we spoke about this at the same time. We spoke about this yesterday. Today as well. Going to kiss b'Shabbat, right? Nigra. What's a Shabbat? If you do an act, and simultaneously for that act, you have to pay money, and simultaneously you also the person's chayav skila or chayav mita. He only gets the mita. He only gets the larger punishment. He doesn't have to pay. So over here, why would he be chayav chatat? If he's anyways going to die for skila, for carrying the cup, and he knew about that, he was warned. So why would he be chayav to bring the carbon? So many Rishonim want to say over here that there is no kamle b'derabamine on a carbon, only on payments. This Gemara, you see. Okay, should I give you some other goodies? Like in Pac-Man, there's it comes out in the middle. The pretzels come out. So I'm going to tell you a pretzel. So the cherries is like this, that the Rishonim ask a good kasha on Rashi. Isn't the halacha, we learned this in Shabbat, that in order to bring a karban chatat for something that you did inadvertently, unknowingly, right, unwillingly, you have to be shav miyidiyasei, which means if I would wake you up from your stupor, from your dream, that you don't realize what you're doing, and say, hello, you're not allowed to do that. What? You're not? You would say, oi! You would stop. You have to be shav miyidiyasei. If you wouldn't stop, you don't bring a karban chatat. We don't say, you get a kapara with a carbon because you're a shogeg. You're not a shogeg. You happen not to know, but even if I would let you know that you're not allowed to do it, you just continue. So you can't bring a carbon chatat. So they all ask on Rashi's explanation of the Gemara here, if you would tell the guy, food is also an issue, what would he do? He would still be whistling and just continue on with his way. Because you see that he doesn't care about Shabbat because of the keli. That's the kasha they ask on Rashi.
How many chatats were being brought a day?
Almost none.
Wow.
I think because people were so scared. They learned the halachot, and if a person ever brought a chatat, you'll see how, if you go to the Beit HaMikdash, you see one day, you see a God-fearing Jew coming with a carbon. Yeah, there were many karbanot, by the way. Don't get me wrong. It looked like a tremendous amount of animals being slaughtered a day. But I don't know how many were chatat. Many were shlomim and oilos, the davos.
Because have you said that every single person back in the day knew all the laws of halacha, the halachas of Shabbos to that level where you, just in general, like to say that everyone's still God fearing is also being very like. Very
First of all, there was much more of Hashem's presence in the world. The Beit HaMikdash itself, that's why we have to eat Ma'aser Sheni. Tosfos Bava Basra says, why does Hashem make such a law? That the second tenth of your produce, you have to bring to Yerushalayim. Who gets to, if you're going to give it to the Levi or the Kohen, I understand, that's the Ma'aser Rishon, that's the Truma, the Bikurim. But this one you eat yourself. And the rest of the, you left at home, you also eat yourself. So what are you bothering me for? That I have to go to Yerushalayim. Every time I get produce, I have to take 10% and eat it in purity in Yerushalayim. Tosfos brings a Yerushalmi. Yerushalmi says, so that you always go to the Beis HaMikdash. Besides 3 times a year, you're also going there for your Ma'aser Sheni. And you're going to see the Kohanim doing the Avodah. And it's going to bring fear into your heart of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It was tremendous to see the Avodah, to feel the presence of Hashem over there in the Beis HaMikdash, and to see people crying when they brought a korban. How their whole body would cry uncontrollably, that they felt that this was instead of them. And they really were supposed to be slaughtered, and their blood is supposed to go on the Mizbeach, and their fat is supposed to be burnt on the Mizbeach, and this is instead of them. And people went and they learned Hilchot Shabbat. And even if they didn't know Hilchot Shabbat, they always second guess, what is it called? They always they never trusted themselves. Before they did anything, they used to say, 1 second, is this okay? Is this not okay? So anyways, let's continue. Others learned, because of that kasha, the other Rishonim learned, we have to answer the Rashi, that when it says in the Mishnah, Chayiv afal keli, it means only for the keli. Because you're potter on the other one. Okay, fine. Let's continue. Let's learn Torah. Maskif lo Rav Ashi for afal klik toni. So the Gemara asks that it says af. Af sounds like exactly like the same type of chiyuv as the first one. Not only are you going to get this punishment, but the keli will also. But the Gemara just said that it's 2 separate things. One is b'shogeg, one is b'mezid, one is chatat, one is skila. It doesn't sound like the same thing. You know what the case is? That you chayiv on the keli. Really, if you eat 2 kizei techelev in 1 helam, you only bring 1 korban. But the case over here, that you're going to bring 2 korbanot, he's not changing it. One is b'shogeg, and the keli I know about, and it's b'mezid. No, they're both b'shogeg. But what happened was, I found out later that you're not allowed to carry kelim. I didn't know anything. I didn't know you're not allowed to carry out food. I didn't know that you're not allowed to have kelim. Then a guy comes over to me, and he tells me, by the way, do you know that you're not allowed to carry out kelim? I said, really? What? I carried out a cup before. Oh, so now you have a yediyah. You have a yediyah about the keli. But you still don't know that you did anything wrong by carrying out the tea, because you still don't know that there's a problem carrying out food. So the yediyot mechalkot. And then a guy tells you later that you're not allowed to carry out the cup. Oh, so we had a machlokes of Yochanan and Rav Shlokish at the beginning of Klal Gadol. Uveflukta de Rav Yochanan and Rav Shimon ben Lakish, which means that Rav Ashi learns that, like Rabbi Yochanan, that the yediyah is mechalek. So he says that the bright over here is going like he interprets it like Rabbi Yochanan. Chayiv afal akeli, you're not going to bring 1 chatat for both. Why? Because even though it's the same malach of haitzah, but it had 2 different yediyot. And the yediyah, the knowledge, the light bulb that went on in my brain, that's called the yediyah, that I found out that what I did was wrong, was a separate yediyah for the cup and the food, and therefore it's mechalek into 2 separate chataot. But Rav Who is the first man? The Omar. It said Rav Sheshet. It didn't answer like this. It's because he held like Rav Shlokish. So he was forced to say that one was shogig, one was mezid. Now, what do you do with the lashon of af? That's the Gemara asked Rav Sheshet. I don't know, but that's why he couldn't learn like Rabbi Yechon. Okay, we said now we're starting a new topic, and you've heard of this topic before. It's called Chaim Noiseis Atzmoi. The Mishnah said that if you carry out a live person on a bed, you are patur for the person. Why? You carried. Because the chai is noiseis atzmoi. Literally means a live person carries himself. Now, you cannot carry yourself. Try carrying yourself outside. You can't. You don't fly. But it means that you make it lighter for the person carrying you. Because you're not dead weight. Like when you carry this, it's called dead weight. Dead weight. When a person dies, he's heavier because he's dead weight. When a person is alive, he makes it lighter for the person who's carrying him. And therefore, midoraita, the person that carries him, is not chayav. Now, you may ask, well, so therefore, not only are you patur for the person, you're patur for the bed as well. Why? Because the bed is just serving the person. It's just like a subordinate. It's just attached to the person. It's just serving him. So, you're not chayav for the person, so you're not chayav for the bed that's carrying the person either. Okay? Now, you may ask a very good kasha. Tosis kasha. All right, so let's say a person, when he's alive, he weighs 150 pounds, and it's very easy to carry those 150 pounds because we know a person is alive, and he makes it easier for the person because he's helped. And when he dies, those same 150, right? It's not going to change on the scale. The scale is still going to say 150. But 150 dead weight, when they're carrying him to his burial plot, it's much heavier. Okay, so what do you weigh when you're alive? It's not 150 of dead weight, even though it says 150 on the hill. It feels like 110. Okay, great. So you're allowed to carry things that weigh 110 on Shabbat. Who cares if you make yourself lighter? So you make yourself lighter, all right. So the guy carrying you is so happy that you're alive and you're not dead, so you're light. Your friend is laughing, he's like making a joke, he's like, I'm glad you're alive. Oh, you're both laughing, very nice. So now you don't weigh 150, you weigh 110. So you're allowed to carry out a table that weighs 110? Who cares that you make it lighter? It's good kasha. You know what else is kasha? Tosafot. The Pac-Man now. So Tosafot says, you might say that the pshat is, you see this Tosafot over here? Shechai noiseis atzmoi. Look in the Tosafot. Tema. It's a wonder, he says. Tema l'ri, lama potter. The imishum she'achayim mekel atzmoi, v'alo yafilu b'masa kal yoiser chayv. Tosafot says it even sharper the way. He says, even things less than 110. You carry something that weighs 2 pounds, you chayv. The imishum the shnayim shas upturim. So you might say, you know what pshat is? Since I'm helping my friend, because I'm alive, so it's shnayim sha'asu, it's yesterday's blot. It's 2 people. Says Tosafot, ha'v'zeh yochel v'zeh ein yochel. She'eina nisi yochel lisei atzmai b'lei ha'noisei. V'ha'noisei yesh b'keich l'noisei, afilu ha'yomeis. So Tosafot says, 1 second. If the guy would die, the guy that's carrying him could still lift him. It gets heavier, but he could still lift him. He's a young, strong man. So he's a yochel. The person that's helping is the man himself. Is he a person that can do it himself? No. Ask him if he could carry himself in the air. He can't. He's not a bird. So he's a eina yochel. So yochel ve'eina yochel. The yochel is still chayiv. Passing like a Yehuda, right? Over there. So why would the yochel be patur? Don't tell me shnayim she'asu. Because it's a misayeh ein by mamash. So zeh yochel v'zeh ein yochel. The yochel is chayiv. V'aimeri. The mishkan gabrinon shelo hayu noisin do v'chay. She'at choshen v'ayolim hoyoichem b'ragleim v'achilozim yad hoyu poitzin es v'terem yomis the kama de ist ben nishoma tfei nichal ekeiche de litzel tzivei. The Gemara we already had before. Okay, Tosafot says an unbelievable thing. He says basically that if you look at the Mishkan, nothing was alive. They carried the crushing. They carried the beams. They were dead. They weren't alive. All the live things that they had in the Mishkan walked themselves. And then they killed them when they came to the Mishkan, and they took their skins and their hides and their blood, and even the chilazoin that they took out of the ocean, right? They didn't carry it, because the Gemara says that they would squeeze it right away, they would kill it. So it shouldn't die by itself, because if it dies by itself, then the blood color is not bright anymore. It's dimmed, dull. So therefore, remember we said that? So therefore, they would kill it right away. So it was dead. So what's Taisa saying? Taisa is saying like this, that since the halacha is that we have to go for the Mishkan, and in the Mishkan, which means like Taisa is saying like this, had it not been for the Mishkan that we have to follow, then we would say, all right, what's the difference, live or dead? We would compare the two. Even though one, you are helping the person, one you're not, and when they're different, so you're lighter, doesn't matter. But now that we know from the Mishkan that it's only live things, only not live things, and we know that there is a major difference between live things and not live things, live weight and dead weight. Therefore, we're able now to learn out this din of live weight and dead weight. Okay, that's Taisus Pshat. Anyways, it's a nice shtickle Torah here, but now we know that chai noisei es atzma you're potter for. So if you carry out your friend on Shabbat into a Reshut HaRabim from Reshut HaYachid, you're patur. And the bed also. So the Gemara says, listen to this kasha. Leima mas nisin Rabbi Nosson hi v'loi Rabbanon. Let us say that our Mishnah is only according to Rabbi Natan. Michael, Rabbi Natan. Rabbi Natan, the original one. Look at Rabbanan. The Mishnah is like Rabbi Natan.
Is there a Rabbi Nachman speaking to Rabbi Natan in this?
You wish. You would pay. Let's see. I don't think there's a Rabbi Nachman in this sugya. I'm sorry.
In general, has there been in the Gemara you see Rabbi Natan?
No. You haven't. No, because Rabbi Nachman was an Amoira. Rabbi Natan was an Atana. It was in the days of Rabbi Meir. He was the Av Bezdin. The Chocham, the Av Bezdin, and the Nasi were Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, Rabbi Meir, and Rabbi Natan. So, okay. So, Hamoitzi behem chayev ha'oif l'reshut harabin. If someone carries an animal, a wild animal, a sheep, or a wild animal, what's a wild animal? A deer, a horse, va'of, or a bird, to the Reshut HaRabim, bein chayim uvein shchutin chayav. Whether they're alive or already shechted, chayav. Even alive. That's not like our Mishnah. Rabbi Natan Omer, al shchutin chayav al chayim patur. On the dead ones, the ones that are slaughtered, you chayav. On the live ones, you're patur. Shehachai noseh et atzmo. Because the live item it carries himself, makes it lighter for the carrier. So our Mishnah is like Rabbi Natan. Okay? No big deal, right? I want everybody to get the whole sugi here. So this is good, right? Omar Rava, afilu teimer rabbanon ad kan liptig rabbanon le'ed Rabbi Nosson el behem v'chayev the mishabetin afshayu. The Gemara says no. Don't limit our Mishnah to Rabbi Natan. Our Mishnah could go according to the Rabbanan as well. The Rabbanan said that you're chayav even for the live ones. You know why? Because he's talking about a behemoth chayav off. He didn't say a person, if you notice. Behemoth chayav off, when you carry them, you know what happens? The misharbetin afshayu. They're trying to slip out of your grasp. They don't like to be held. They like freedom. They want out. You're stronger, so you're holding the bird like this. He wants out. So he is fighting. And that pressure of him fighting, he doesn't make himself lighter for you because he's alive and he's not dead weight. He makes himself heavier than dead weight. It's even worse. And therefore, the Chachamim say that now you don't say the svara of Chai Noseh et Atzmo. It's not that the Chachamim don't agree with Chai Noseh et Atzmo. Surely they agree. But here specifically they say that you cannot apply it. But a live person, the Chachamim agree. Our Mishnah is speaking about a live person. Of course they agree. Okay, good so far. There's a Mishnah in Psachim. Let me tell you a little introduction. The Chachamim said that, you're not allowed to rent an animal to a goy on Shabbat. Okay? Because then he's going to be working your animal belongs to you, and you have to, there's a mitzvah of the man yanuach shocha v'chamorecha, of shvitat behemtecha, we had it before, the animal must rest on Shabbat. So in order to ensure that nobody would rent their animals to a goy, they said you're not allowed to sell a cow, a chamor, parah, chamor, an animal to a goy. Why? Because if you're allowed to sell them, you're allowed to do business with them, then you'll also have a leasing company over there. We sell, we rent, we have everything. We do all the cars, everything. So therefore, now selling really is not an issue, because once you sell it, it belongs to him, so then he can do whatever he wants with his animal. But once you do selling, you'll do renting. Therefore they said, no selling animals to a goy. Comes along Ben B'Teira. Ben B'Teira is a Tana. Matir B'Sus. He says a horse you could do. Okay? The Tanya, what's the reason? Why is a horse different? Why could you sell a horse? You might come to rent a horse on Shabbat. The Tanya Ben B'Teira Matir B'Sus. He says, because what's going to happen is, he's not going to do anything that you're going to be chayav chatat. What is he going to do with the horse? They didn't use horses for the normal, let's say, plowing or stuff like that. They used horses to transport things. So the guy's going to ride on the animal. So Ben B'Teira says, big deal. He's not going to end up doing anything with the horse. The horse won't be doing a melacha that you're chayav chatat. The horse will only be doing the most of the Rabbanan. Why? Because if people ride the horse is carrying people. People are live weight. So the horse is not doing a melacha on Shabbat. If you would do what the horse is doing, it wouldn't be a melacha that you're chayav chatat for. So therefore, you're allowed to sell a horse, because even if he ends up renting the horse won't end up ever doing a melacha that you're chayav chatat for. Okay? And therefore, any melacha that you're allowed to let an animal do a melacha that's b'drabanan. Okay, fine. The Amar Rabbi Yochanan but here's where it gets tricky. Rabbi Yochanan said, Ben B'Teira v'Rabbi Natan amru davar echad. That Ben B'Teira that said, what's the whole svara of Ben B'Teira? Chay noisei satzmai. And Rabbi Natan, when he said that you're allowed to carry out, that you're not chayav for carry out live behema chayav off. What's the reason for that? Chay noisei satzmai. So Ben B'Teira and Rabbi Natan are good friends. They're learning the same way. Now, Gemara is asking a kasha. If you're telling me that even the Rabbanan that argue Rabbi Nosson don't really argue with him. They only argue when the thing that's being carried is a behema chayva off, because they try to release themselves and they make it harder for you, and therefore you can't say chay noisei satzmai. But normally the Chachamim really agree with noisei satzmai. Then my iri Ben B'Teira v'Rabbi Natan ve'amris afilu rabbanon moidu. So why is making Ben B'Teira and Rabbi Natan buddies and friends? Ben B'Teira is also agreeing with the Rabbanan, because who do the horses carry? Humans. So the Gemara says, Ki Omer Rabbi Yochanan b'susa miyuchad le'oifis. Which means like this. Ben B'Teira said what? Ben B'Teira said you could sell any horse. Any horse. So you're right. On the normal type of horse, 90% of the horses, who did they transport? Humans. So on that aspect, you could have said that Ben B'Teira agrees with the Rabbanan. Because the Rabbanan also agree that humans, there's a svara of Chay noisei satzmai. But since Ben B'Teira didn't say that you could sell 90% of the horses. He said you could sell 100% of the horses. There is one type of horse that they use to transport birds. The Gemara is going to say, is there such a thing? The Gemara is going to, we'll see in a minute. There is such a thing, okay? So there is an animal, and he let all horses. There's no gzeira, you could sell horses. Why? Because even if you come to rent horses, all horses, even that little percentage-wise, you're okay. Now, the horses that carry birds, they shouldn't work, according to the Rabbanan. According to Rabbanan, they're always trying to release themselves. And therefore, you don't say the svara of Chayin Oseh Tatzmo. Who argues with that? Rabbi Natan, don't tell me about this thing that they're trying to release and all that pressure. You still say Chayin Oseh Tatzmo. So that's why Rabbi Yochanan said Ben Betera and Rabbi Natan agree, not the Rabbanan. Because Ben Betera is allowing all horses, even the horses that transport the birds, we're according to the Chachamim, you don't say Chayin Oseh Tatzmo, and only according to Rabbi Natan would you apply this svara of Chayin Oseh Tatzmo. So the Gemara says, Umi Ika Susam Yuchad Oif, is there such a thing? The Gemara says, sure, in Ika Devei Vayadan. The Bei Vayadan, it was the household of Vayadan. They used to, when they went hunting, they had hunting birds. Vultures, eagles, owls, whatever. They used to put them on the horse. Okay? They used to put them on the horse. I have a little bit of a problem over here, but I'm going to skip it now. Fine. Omer Rabbi Yochanan. Umoyde Rabbi Natan bekafut. Rabbi Natan is modeh. He admits that if you tie, okay, by the way, everything we just said is not tied. They weren't tied on the horse. Because you'll see right now, Rabbi Natan is modeh that if you tie an animal or a person with a rope, that person is not noisei satzmai. And if you take that person out, if you carry that person out, you chayav. Okay? And it's basically the same type of story we said before. You're tying him down, so you're making him like kind of dead weight, kind of. Which means it might not be that it will be as heavy as when he dies, but he's not really helping that much. Because you're tying him down. So if you tie animals or you tie humans, there's no sort of chayin oseh satzmai. But there are, again, remember that Rabbi Yochanan said, Ben Betera was matter every single type of horse. He didn't differentiate. He said you're allowed to sell to the goyim. Which goy? Only to the American goy? No, even to the Persian goyim. Now the Persian goyim, there are many of them that ride horses. These guys are so spoiled and so rich, these Persians, that what happens is that they're like tied. Because they wear all these like big thick clothing when they ride. And they're very, very spoiled. And they never put their feet onto the ground. Okay? And therefore, they're like tied. And Ben Beseira still allowed you to sell a horse, even those horses, all the horses, even though he's going to end up transporting Persians on it. And Rabbi Natan, and Rabbi Yochanan said he's exactly like Rabbi Natan. But Rabbi Natan said that when you tie one to a horse, it's asur. It's a malacha d'oraita. The Persians are exactly like tied. And yet, Ben Betera still allows it. Ben Betera goes like Rabbi Natan according to Rabbi Yochanan. So the Gemara says, Hatam, in the story of the Pasim, it's not true. They're not tied. They can go by feet. These are not like heavy fat people that wear these fancy clothing and they just like get taken on the horses and they don't really move. These guys could run. They could run very fast, but they're just balei gaiva. Remut rucha hu denakat lahu. These Persians have remut rucha. They're balei gaiva. So they act as if they can't walk, but if they need to, they can know how to run. There was a story with a ruler, a governor, a Persian ruler who got mad. Who the king got mad with, and he ran 3 pasaot beraglav. That's many miles. Okay, they don't know how to run very much when they need to, so you don't have to worry about it. It says the Gemara, etamet u'mitachayab, v'chein kizayit v'namet. Omer Rabbi Bar Bachana, Omer Rabbi Yochanan, Omer Rabbi Yosef, Omer Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish. Poter haya Rabbi Shimon, af imotzi etamet lekovro. When Rabbi Shimon says that a malacha she'eino tzricha legufa, you don't need for itself, like carrying a dead person out, is even when you don't just want to get rid of the smell of the dead person, so it shouldn't be uncomfortable for the people in the home with the dead person. Even if you're transporting the dead person for his needs, to bury him, still, it's still a malacha she'eina tzricha legufa. Why? Because even though there's going to be a purpose, there is a purpose for the item that you're carrying out. It's going to get buried. But for you, it's not helping. It's not helping you. You're not gaining anything out of this. That, the item is gaining. But for you, you're not gaining anything, and you would have rather that this thing would have been here, and therefore, it's still a malacha she'eina tzricha legufa. Wow. Omar Rava u'moider Reb Shimon bimar lach b'boy v'sefer Torah likros b'y dechayv. Reb Shimon will be modeh that is a malacha tzricha legufa. If you take out a shovel to dig with, or a sefer Torah to read, you're chayav. So Gemara says pshita, of course, obviously. That's the classic case of carrying. Of course, there's a purpose there. Taking out a sefer Torah so that you could benefit, and that you're taking out a shovel so that you could benefit. So what's the shaila? So the Gemara says, no. The Gemara is asking, it's part of the kasha. The Gemara says, if that's also part of Melacha she'eina tzricha legufa, so what case will you ever find that's better than that? So the Gemara says, Ma'od detema ad ika legufa yo legufa. Kegoyin ma'ar lasas loitas. Okay, v'lachbar, sefer Torah, v'lachbar. And sefer Torah lagia v'likros boy. You would have thought, okay, that you need 2 things. You need legufay ulegufa. You need for the gufay of the person that's doing it, and for the malacha itself, for the chayfetz. Like a shovel, you want to add a piece to the end of the shovel to make it better. And you want to dig with it. So you're getting something out of it, and the shovel also gets something out of it. Or a sefer Torah, that you get something out of it because you're going to fix it. And the sefer Torah gains also because you're going to fix the sefer Torah. But, Kamash Malon, that even over here, that the item itself is not going to get better, the sefer Torah, I'm just taking the sefer Torah to read. So who's gaining? Only me. The sefer Torah is not going to get better. Or I'm taking out a shovel to dig. And the shovel is not going to get better. I'm not going to put something on the end of the shovel to make it better. Just I am gaining. The chayfetz, the thing that's being carried, is not going to gain. You're not going to benefit anything in the actual shovel. It's still a malacha she'tzicha legufa. That he will still agree. Who shachva dehavad b'droikra? There was a dead person lying in the city of Droikra, and he was in a reshut hayachid. Shora Rav Nachman by Yitzchak le'afuke le'karmelis. Rav Nachman by Yitzchak allowed them to carry him out to a Carmelit. Carmelit, we know, is a makam p'tur midoraita. The Chachamim gave it Easter. Omar le Rabbi Yochanan achvu demar berei de Ravon le Rav Nachman by Yitzchak Keman, Reb Shimon. He said, who is this like? This is like Reb Shimon? What's going on over here? You're allowing because he's dead? Wow, you must be going like Reb Shimon. It's a melacha she'eina tzricha legufo. Eimer de poter Reb Shimon mechiyuv chatat, but he's through the Rabbanon mi'ika. Reb Shimon didn't say you're allowed to carry the davar she'eina tzricha legufo. Reb Shimon only said you're not chayav chatat. But even Rabbi Shimon is moder rabotai. All these cases that we said in the Mishnah, that they're asur. You're not allowed to do it with the Rabbanan. So if you're allowing to carry it to a Carmelite, because you're going like Rabbi Shimon, because it's a dead person, so you're really not gaining anything. You're just trying to remove the uncomfortable, right? But you're not gaining anything. There's no positive benefit over here. And that's why it's a melacha she'eina tzricha legufo. It's still asur. So why are you letting this? So he asked Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, Rabbi Yochanan, the brother of Marbarei de Ravna, asked Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, why are you letting it? Omar Leiser, Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak answered him, Hayalokim, I swear by Hashem. It's like a language of the Eilet Be'at. You yourself will carry this. You yourself will carry this. Which means V'afilu Rabbi Yehuda Deshari, even according to Rabbi Yehuda that argues with Rabbi Shimon. And he says that a melacha she'eina tzricha legufa is a problem, Rabotai. Even according to Rabbi Yehuda, like the Tanakam in our Mishnah that says a melacha she'eina tzricha legufa is asur. Not just asur. It's asur midoraita, Rabotai. Right? It's an isur deoraita. Even he will allow this story. Why? The mikamina l'shut rabim, the Carmelite kamina. What did I say? I said to carry it to the Carmelite, which is only an isur derabanan in the first place. So what? But still asur? No, it's not. He says why? Because gadol kvod abriot shedoche et lo taseh shebetorah. Since this dignity, okay, so therefore people are going to be bothered, and is going to smell. Okay? So for kavod abriot, that pushes away an isur d'Rabbanan. So what are you getting so excited about? I just said to a Carmelite. Okay. Tanan hatam. We learned over there. Hatolesh simanei tuma v'yichva ha'mechya. Shmak Gemara. Listen to this. How many hairs inside a white nega make it tamei, that it's real tzarat? 2 white hairs. So what happens if a guy pulls out the 2 white hairs? Or he burns out the healthy skin in the unhealthy skin. There's another type of tumah. If you have unhealthy skin, and you don't have white hairs growing out of it, but you have in the middle of the unhealthy, there's healthy skin. That makes you tamei. That's the problem. So the guy, he doesn't want to be tamei, so he burns out the healthy skin. So all of it is unhealthy now. It's all like white. So he's removing, in both these cases, the siman of tumah. So the halacha is, he's over below taseh. He is transgressing, violating a lo taseh, and if he's warned, he gets makot, which is shomer b'nega hatzarat. Be careful with the nega of tzarat, to guard it and not to remove it. Bring it to the kohen and let him judge it. Fine. Itmar. Now listen to this. Now what does it have to do with our sugya of Shabbat? You'll see in a minute. Itmar. Achat mishtayim chayav. Achat mishalosh. Rav Nachman amar chayav, Rav Sheshet amar patur. If you take 1 hair out of 2 hairs, what happens if you only have 1 hair growing? You're not tameh. So once you pluck out 1, you're ready to davera, because you were not careful with the nega. You remove the nega, so of course you're going to be chayav. What happens if you have 3 hairs? This is a classic shaila. You have 3 hairs. If I take out 1, you still have the nega. You're still as tameh as ever. So you're not doing anything. So Rav Nachman still says you're chayav. Rav Sheshet says you're patur because you didn't do anything. Rav Nachman says chayav. So what's the reason for Rav Nachman? Rav Nachman chayav ahani ma'asav, because his actions are still beneficial. The imishtak l'chad achriti az lo tuma. Because right now, how many do you need to depart for your tumah to go off? Only 1. Until you came along and pulled out the first one, you needed 2 to be removed. Now that you took that 1, it's beneficial because if one falls out, you'll be tahor. So therefore, that's already not being careful. Then I guess you're over on the lav. That's the lav. Rav Sheshet amar patur. Hashtami it's ha'isa l'tuma. Rav Sheshet says still now you're patur. Why? Because at the end of the day, you didn't take out the tuma. There's no such a svarav ho'ilu ma'asav. They were kind of beneficial. Okay. Omar Rav Sheshet. Rav Sheshet said, how do I know that you don't say, well, it is somewhat beneficial? Mino aminallah. The Tanat, he got it from our Mishnah. Our Mishnah in Shabbat. It says, if you take out a kizayit of a mate from your home, because you don't want to become tamei, or kizayit from a nevela, you're chayav. Hachatzi zayit, what about half a kizayit? Patur. Ve'atanya chatzi zayit chayav. But there's a brighter that says if you take out half a kizayit, you're chayav. So make up your mind. Are you patur or are you chayav for half a kizayit? My love, the only answer you could say is the tanya chayav. If you take out half a kizayit, the apik chatzi zayit mit kizayit. It's very simple. You have a kizayit of a met in your house. Why don't you want that? Why don't you want that kizayit? Because you're going to become tameh. So how much of an action would be beneficial for you to transport it out into Rishut Rabim? Take off half a kizayit. So therefore the half a kizayit is significant because you remove the tumah. You remove the tumah. Okay? Fine. But our Mishnah that says patur, it's talking about you have 1.5 kizaytim. Look, you have a piece. This is the piece. See the piece? This is 1.5 kizaytim. So if I take off half a kizayit and I bring it outside, what do? You still have that whole kizayit left in your home. But 1 second, according to Rav Nachman, it should be considered that you're chayav. Because your actions are somewhat beneficial. Because if someone else then later, after this story, takes out another piece of that kizayit, so now it will become tahor. So you did something that was somewhat beneficial. Yet you see that it's not. You're patur in our Mishnah. So you see that you don't say ha'ilu ma'asav. For Rav Nachman, what's Rav Nachman going to answer? Idi v'idi chayav. In both cases, you're going to be chayav. Our Mishnah says if you take out a kizayit chayav, it sounds like if half a kizayit is patur. V'hadu tanam patur, the apik chatzi zayit be made gadol. We're talking about that you took out half a kizayit from a large mate. So therefore, or many kizayitim. So then we don't say it's considered like you helped. Because what do? You're right, at the end of the day, they only have to take out another 25 kizaytim, and not 25 kizaytim and your little piece, your half kizayit. That's not considered ho'ilu ma'asav. Ho'ilu ma'asav is only by a significant help. You did something that we can really consider helpful. And that's why, in the Mishnah, you're going to be patur by half a kizayit. Chazak Baruch.